All right, let's construct a histogram and a frequency polygon. So we have 40 students selected in the school cafeteria. They're asked to estimate the number of hours they spent studying the past week in class and out of class. So here's all their responses. Now, they want us to do a grouped frequency distribution and a relative frequency distribution. Now, grouped means we cannot just write all this down separately because 72 is the highest, 12 is the lowest. So we can't put from 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's going to be too many classes. So what they do is they group it. You want to have between 5 and 12 classes. So over here on the left where it says class limits, you want between 5 and 12. Okay? And they have to have a uniform width. So for example, if one has 5 in it, the next has to have 5 in it, and so on. So what they did is they get the range. 72 minus 12 gives us 60 data points. We have 60 points, and we want to be between 5 and 12. They decided to just divide by 10 because that gave them 6 classes, or almost 6. So when you look at it, when they take that and they divide it, first they divided it by 5 and they got 12 classes. That was a little much. Then they divided it by 12 and they got 5. They had a width of 5. They ended up deciding on 10, so it was kind of a random decision. You just want to make sure in the end you have between 5 and 12 over here on the left. Now, if you include 10 and you count them out, okay, they started at 10. You could have started at 12. They opted to start at 10. So they did 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That is actually 10 units. And then they did 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69, and 70 to 79. Then they did their tallies like we did on the last example. So 18 falls between 10 and 19. You put a mark there. Let's go down. 26 falls between 20 and 29. You put a mark there. 55 would be between 50 and 59. You do that for all 40 numbers. And then you end up with a frequency of 6, 11, 9, 7, 4, 2, 1. So it's called grouped. Because we didn't list each number separately, we have groups of numbers. And these have to be consistent. You can't go from 10 to 12 and then the next one go from 12 to 30. They have to have the same number in each one. Now, just like the last example, we do relative frequency. You take this number and put it over the total. 6 over 40, 15%, 11 over 40, 27.5%. Notice that it wasn't exact percentages. They did go out in one decimal place to make this work out a little better. 9 over 40, 22.5%. So they got 0.225. They moved the decimal twice. And that gives you the relative frequency. Now over here on the right is where we do our histogram. We talked about this in the last example. Down at the bottom, instead of numbers, we have class limits now. So this is each class limit that's over here on the left. The first one had 6. So you go up to 6 and put a bar. The next one had 11. You go up to 11. Now what you want to notice is 11 is your highest. So you want to make sure you accommodate from 1 to 11. They counted by 5. So you could have done 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 11. Okay, you could use it either way. Histogram, they drew the bars up to the height of the frequency. Okay, so like for this 60 to 69, right here, they went up 2, drew a bar. All the bars are connected. Now remember with a frequency polygon, you do the same thing except you put dots there instead of bars. Okay, and then you connect those dots and then draw it back down to the x-axis. Okay, in this particular class, these are done with the actual data. If you take statistics, they do this with the midpoint instead of the data. So, all right, let me save this and we will move on. I do want to add, if you look down here on the frequency polygon, they did use the midpoint. So they have 14.5, 24.5, 34.5, 44.5. To get those numbers, you do 10 plus 19 divided by 2. It's going to give you 14.5. 20 plus 29 divided by 2, 24.5. On this last one, 70 plus 79 divided by 2 is 74.5. They just included the midpoints on the bottom axis, which is what we actually do in our statistics classes as well.